Ready for more tips from my top 20 tips from 20 years? Say that 10 times fast, so we will. Let's rock and roll. Pick up on number 13. When you build a financial plan, it's got to be sensitive to, ready? Here it comes, wait for it, income taxes. Yay! Nobody ever comes into my office and says, David, can you show me how to pay more in taxes? They might want you to pay more, but they don't want to pay more. And I've never had somebody tell me, gosh, I just don't feel like I'm paying enough. I'm not caring enough about taxes. So we can plan that out. We can minimize taxes, but it requires thinking it through as part of an overall plan and looking at your money and where to draw in a smart way so that you are keeping the taxes as low as you can. So it can be done. That's what I want you to know. And it's really about picking the right investment account. So pull from it at different times. Also might mean being a little counterintuitive or counter logic, and it might be pulling from something that you don't have to take money out of and maybe to incur a little bit of tax before you have to. Imagine that. Number 14, here's a real important one. You manage your investments. No, you don't manage them. Somebody else is managing them for you. You still monitor them. You still pay attention. You still open your statements. I'm not asking you to study it. I'm not asking for you to spend hours doing it. I just want 3 minutes. Quick scan. Does anything look weird? Okay? I call it looking for somebody driving on the wrong side of the road. It will be real obvious real quick. Look for something that looks odd, and if you don't understand it, call your advisor. No problem. But you've got to monitor what's happening and not just check out. Number 15, in the same vein, remain vigilant about scams. If it sounds too good to be true, you hear it, right? It almost always is. So I've had somebody come in just the other day and say, oh, I was told I can get 4.5% on my money, guaranteed. I said, okay, let's talk about it. And by the time we unwound it, it wasn't what he thought it was. So just be very careful. Number 16, here we go. Real important. They're all important, but this is really good. Build the plan before you retire. If you come in to see me 5 years before you retire or 1 year before you retire, I can give you a much better idea about what you can do with your retirement monies than if you wait until the day after you've retired. You had enough of the boss and his feeble attempts at humor. You say, I'm over it. I'm out of here. And you say to me, hey, I retired. What can you do with this? We can still help. I don't want to give you the wrong impression. And if you've been retired for many years and you simply want a second opinion, absolutely. That's what advisors are for. I do a lot of second opinions. But what I'm trying to get at is if you're really trying to know how much you need to accumulate for retirement or how much you can get from your investments for retirement, solving for either one of those, that's much easier done. And you can do something about it if it's lacking if you build the plan before you retire. There, that's how you do it. Number 17, okay? Now we're going to shift gears and talk a little bit about estate planning. Do you need an estate plan? Do you need a will, trust, and these other documents? Yes. As a general statement, yes. I'm not an attorney, but most people need at least some of the basics in place to protect them and then to protect their family or their beneficiaries in how they get money. So even if you have no beneficiaries and when you die, your money is going to go to a charity or it's going to go somewhere you've designated. Even without family, a will might be appropriate and some of the other documents may be very appropriate. So now I'm not a big fan of the self-help stuff that you do online. Just because I've worked with attorneys and I've seen the things that can be done with the guidance of a reputable, experienced, competent attorney. And there are a lot of them around. And it pays to shop because there can be differences in what they charge, just like with advisors. So some of the basic documents that I see attorneys do on a regular basis, a will that directs what you own in your name that doesn't have a beneficiary name on it to go to somebody. That's what a will does. A trust. A trust will hold money. It's not subject to probate. A will is. And a trust will also direct money to go where you want it to go. Also allows the money to be held for somebody and paid out over time. And a trust also allows the money, if you are incapacitated, for somebody to step in, manage that money, and then disperse it out to take care of your needs. So a trust is a more permanent solution than just a will, and it has a lot more flexibility, and it's private. So just a couple differences there. There's a lot more to it. There are other documents that may be appropriate. Power of attorney lets somebody step in and basically take care of your finances and make business decisions for you. A healthcare surrogate lets somebody step in and make decisions for you related to your healthcare if you can't. So if you need surgery and you're in a coma and somebody has this document, they can make important medical decisions for you. I'm not talking about pulling the plug, I'm talking about making you better. A healthcare surrogate is about making you better. An advance directive is the separate document. That's the one that allows somebody to say, okay, that's enough after it's been determined by your doctor or doctors that you're not coming back. So these documents are really important. They all work together. And I really encourage, if you have concerns about these documents, to sit down with an attorney to get some advice. And that's tip number 17. Tip number 18, talk to your family about your estate plan. I've seen some real fights and some real stress among family members when they don't understand a loved one's estate plan. Now, I'm not saying you have to give a copy of your will and trust to every family member, but be prudent and think through who you want to serve in different capacities. Talk to them about their role, make sure they're comfortable, and also make sure you've talked to somebody about what you want to have happen. And it just helps to make things clear. You don't have to, give them a personal accounting of every asset you own, but you can help avoid fights, hurt feelings, lawsuits if people have a general idea. And that's just prudent thinking. And tip number 19, when we get into some of this estate planning, there are techniques that you can use that can be very powerful. And when you consult with an attorney, they can explore your situation and help you figure out what makes sense. But I will tell you that if a trust fits your situation, and it fits more situations than people realize, you don't have to be a multimillionaire. You could have hundreds, not millions, okay? Hundreds of thousands, not millions of dollars, and a trust might be very appropriate. So you want to look at how you want to leave your money, and you really can control from the grave in a good way. The money can be left for your beneficiaries. It can provide income in the future to them without wrecking their own work ethic. It can protect them from getting too much money at once, which has wrecked the lives of many lottery winners. So these are some tips to get you started. And tip number 20 is to implement them. And if you do that, you'll plan stronger.